am Brandon Sanderson, #1 New York Times bestselling author, and I am the writer of the Infinity Blade books, specifically Infinity Blade Awakening and now Infinity Blade Redemption, which bridges the second video game with the third video game, Infinity Blade 3. And so I'm excited to talk to you about the process of writing a story that went between these two epic games.
Let's start by talking a little about the story and Redemption and how it does serve as a bridge for people that have played through the first two games.
Right. We're going to get some spoilers here, because if you've played the second game, we end with our hero Cyrus locked in an immortal prison where he's been betrayed by the person he thought was helping him all along. They switched places, locked him away, and I start the book saying, okay, we're going to start the third game with him free. And I've got to find a way to deal with this and to set up everything. Basically, the third game you play only through the climax of the story, because that's what we want for a game, right? We want, it's like you're coming in the last half hour of the action movie, and you're just gonna get going, and boom, you're gonna play, and it's gonna be awesome. And my job is to set that all up. It was to write a book that would take us from kind of this down point to lead into all right, we've got to go, here's the threat, things are still really difficult, but we're set up and go. And it was a really exciting thing for me to do.
Can you talk a little about the villain that plays such a central role in Infinity Blade 3, and it's voiced by actor John Noble in the game?
Yes. This is the Worker of Secrets, which is super fun for me to I created this character for the first book, Awakening, and then he became a focus in the second game, and now he is the primary villain of the entire series for the third game. And in the second book, what we're doing is we're kind of setting up his plots, and this is the guy. I do a series of flashbacks where you will find out this guy's history, and you'll find out his interaction with the God King, who was the villain from the first book. And I set up who he is and what his real plan is, which is deeper and darker and crazier than anything that we thought was going on. I can't spoil it, obviously, but then to have that get voiced by such a great actor, that gives me chills, right? It's something I get to be involved in that has gone so far.
When it comes to Infinity Blade 3, can you talk a little give your thoughts about how far these games have come from when you first started?
Oh yeah, they've come so far. The first game, it was a load of fun, right? But it was very repetitive. It was kind of the same concept, and there wasn't a lot they could do with story or voice acting or these things. And then you see the second game, and they expanded that. With the book that I'd written, they were able to do, they did voice acting on a much higher level. They did much more story. They had multiple characters and things like this. And then you go into the third game, and it expands even further. The world becomes a lot more open. The places you can go, the things you can do, the characters you can play, all of these expand greatly to allow you just a lot more freedom and variety. It started with this, a lot of things, this great concept that was super fun, and now it has expanded into something epic.
What types of ideas or collaboration was there between you guys in developing this second book that influenced what's going on in the video game?
Well, we sat down and we had 3 or 4 big monster brainstorming sessions across about 6 months when they were working on the game and I'm tweaking this outline, and the idea that we wanted to deliver this as a 1-2 punch where we're taking the book to bring you right up to a climactic moment that you can start the game. We needed to know what the ending of the game was so I could push toward that. But the book also had to feel like its own cohesive whole. I couldn't write a book and then have you end right when it starts to get exciting. It had to have its own arc. And so a lot of the conversation became about dealing with the God King, who was the villain of the first book. The person you fought, probably if you played the first game, 20 or 30 times. He killed me 11 times before I beat him. And you probably have, you know this guy, but who is he? And I was able to write an entire arc and story, and this is really his book. Granted, Cyrus is the hero of the series. He has quite a bit to do in the book as well, but it became the God King story. And even from, the flashback sequences dealing with him all the way up to he and why he does what he does and how he became the God King. And that allowed me to write a story that had its own heart, its own beginning, middle, and end, but also used all of these other characters to set up this ending that you will get to play through in the third game.